today. The wind has picked up. The fall this year has been a weird transition to say the least. You know, it's stayed warm for so long. I'm looking at the water temp is 67 right now. And last year at this time, it was at least 10 degrees colder. This is just an abnormally warm year. We keep waiting for the fall patterns to hit, and they just really, there's been signs of fall patterns hitting, but it's not all the way there. And I personally think it might just pass it right over. We might not get that great fall spinnerbait, buzzbait. I'm not saying we're not going to get it. We just won't get it as hot and heavy as we have in years past. We might jump straight into winter. You just never know. So right now I'm just kind of winging this whopper plopper, as my man James Watson would say, the Willy P around. It's always been a good bait to catch big fish, and this time of year it's a, you know, head knocker buzzbait, crocker gator, or whopper plopper, or chopo, and just kind of eat up the bank. This is the bite everybody's been waiting on here, and I've seen glimpses of it. A lot of our fishing here at Lake of the Ozarks all depends on what they do at Ameren. Ameren's the one that controls the lake level. And Ameren sometimes out of nowhere will either let a bunch of water in and it rises, or drop it. And the last couple days they've been dropping it pretty quick, which, you know, typically that'll hurt your bank fishing. You know, the fish feel that water leaving their heads, and they'll slide out to a piece of cover or the next layer. So, you know, if we don't catch something on top here first hour or so, we might, you know, come at them with a little something else just off the bank. Maybe not a topwater, maybe like a wiggle wart. A wiggle wart's a great idea, or a rock crawler. Those are two of my, you know, kind of favorite baits for the fall. If I could cover water and move with any kind of moving bait, that's the way I want it. That's the way I'd rather fish. He who makes the most casts probably has the best chance to win if you're on the right stuff. Come on, eat that Willy P. One of the reasons, I kind of touched on it a little bit earlier, but one of the reasons why I decided to just, you know, kind of stay at home, there's a couple reasons this year, and not travel and all that stuff. Don't get me wrong, I absolutely love to travel. I love to go to different lakes and stuff like that, because it creates you learn so much more going to other lakes. You come back home a better fisherman every time, so you learn a lot. But, you know, in this tournament world, this stuff isn't cheap. It's not an automatic free bid entry unless you got sponsors that are covering entries, which is hard to find. Usually they cover product. So, you know, having the young kids I got, and being the breadwinner of the family that has to provide, and taking on Fitz Fishing #2 here by the state park to manage and make a double income from bass and bobbing here is the reasons why I gotta stay home. Because you or chose to. I mean, you go on the road, your entry fees, say it's a Toyota series, $1,700. I mean, that's a lot of money right there. And then you gotta talk about your lodging fee and your gas and you know, and your food, and you tally that all up, you know, and then say you have a bad event and you don't get a check back to at least cover some of that cost. You know, there's times where I've gone home, and you're almost just, you almost feel guilty. You know, I've take that out of a page of one of my mentors, Marcus Sikora. It's taught me a lot about the game, and I can't tell you how many times, well, not a lot, because the man usually does really well, but, oh, there's one right there. He's a little one. He was right on the bank too. Actually, he's a little bit bigger. Don't come off. They drop in the water, and he was still nose on the bank, so he just proved what I said earlier wrong, I guess, but that's not a bad one. I don't like touching them with my treble hook. I've had 2 hooks stuck in my finger at the same time, had my fingers closed like this when I was a kid, and me and my grandma could not get them hooks out for the life of us. So now with treble hooks, I am actually terrified. In a way, I'm almost glad that happened as a kid, because now I'm very careful. There you go, there's a solid, I bet you he'd go 3. Let's put him on the scale. So let's see, he's close to 3. He weighs 291 on this scale, and this scale is usually within 1/10 on tournament scales and stuff, so right about 3 pounds. Solid fish. That would have got our day started, brother. Come on, Willie. telling me to put you in. I got you in the game, Willy P. Sometimes I like to erratic my plopper too. Just kind of twitch it along. There's no bad way to do it. Some guys go like that and I'm gonna start getting hot here. There he is, dude. I told you I was gonna finally catch another one and get hot. Old Willy P over the cable. I think he's hooked in the belly. He's not a bad fish. All right, we're gonna get hot. We're gonna make this camera famous today. My boy used to say that's a Grand Lake keeper right there. He ain't even see, he's hooked in the back on one of the hooks. So to me, that's about a 14-incher, long and skinny. He'd keep on grand next week when we go to the AIA Championship, but a Lake of the Ozarks, I want to say ocean all the time. He don't keep. Let's throw it back in there and catch another one, man. This is a good situation here. We got the wind. The wind has died down a little bit. It's still, you know, coming in good enough for a topwater bite. And of course, I still got it glued to my hand because there's nothing really funner than seeing them bite a topwater. The wind's crashing in. You got some smaller rock, but it's that smaller black rock, and it's a little flatter. The wind direction is right. The rock is just fine. I mean, sometimes we like that bigger, chunkier, mixed up rock. It's got a big smile on the bank up the way, but the wind's dying up there. We're gonna make a run at this, you know, me and John just driving down the lake, and you're just looking for the right situation to throw your topwater, you know, and this is kind of it. See, I missed that cast too. I mean, you almost want to land this thing where you think it's going to get stuck in the rocks. You want to be right up on the bank. Every fish we've caught and every bite we've had have been right on the bank. And that's another thing as a fisherman you got to pay attention to. When you're getting bites, instead of getting excited, think about what you did. You know, I mean, that's one thing. It's hard to do though. Like that first fish I caught, you know, right away, I'm like, okay, that was my best cast of the morning. It was right on the strike zone like that cast. You know, there he is, right up on the bank, little bitty one. You get the skiing them in, look at that. You know, I love fishing for reasons like this. That's a Kentucky, he'd keep for Kentucky, but he doesn't weigh a whole lot. You know, he's not gonna help you a lot. But what is so awesome about bass is some of these fish they'll bite baits that are bigger than them. And I love it. I always tell my partner, hey man, he's gonna be a good one day. You know, it's like, that's so neat that they're so aggressive. You know, I got baits this big and I'll catch a fish this big on it. Like, what were you planning on doing with that bait, man? You think you were gonna, I mean, were you just the quickest one to get to it and you were gonna, you know, hold on to him until mom gets there to chop him up for you or something? That's what I love about it.